Hey guys, it's Dr. Bickling from Own It Dental. As always, here's my contact information if you need to get a hold of me. And if you guys are enjoying these videos, please do hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. It's right down below. It only takes you a second and it's free to do. Speaking of things that are free, today we're going to talk about giving away free dentistry, but it might not be what you think it is. So let's dig into it. All right, so like I said, today we're going to talk about giving away free dentistry, but I'm not talking about one of those free dentistry for the community days that many dental offices do. I'm talking about something different. It's a little bit of a thought experiment that I went through back in the days when my doctors weren't able to sell any dental treatment. So over the past month or so, a lot of my clients have been reaching out to me because their associates are simply not able to sell dentistry. Now, when I say sell dentistry, I don't mean push dentistry onto people. When I say the word sell, I mean build a relationship or build trust with a patient. Because when a patient has to pay for dental visits, there needs to be a certain level of trust there. And if we all know if their insurance doesn't pay for it, that means they don't need it, right? So in any case, when I say sell dentistry, I'm talking about building a trusting relationship with a patient. Now, like I said, a lot of my clients have reached out to me and say, Dr. Bickling, my associates, their case acceptance is terrible. They can't sell any dentistry. What should I do? So before I get into the solution, I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm going to take you back in time, back to 2016. Now, many of y'all know I was the CEO of a company called Strong Smiles Dental Care. We opened our offices about halfway through 2013. It was a scratch office. And I was the first dentist to start. And eventually, my business partner, Dr. Victoria Yu, came on and joined me. And we grew the business like crazy. And by the time we got to our third year of business, it was just she and I. And we were open 6 days a week. And we did $3.3 million in 2016. Well, we had this crazy idea, in 2017, we're going to expand, we're going to hire a bunch of associates, and I'm going to step away from the dental chair. And that's exactly what we did. We hired 4 associates, and Dr. Yu and I stepped away from the dental chair, and we kept growing our practice like crazy, about 100 to 150 new patients a month, every month. And then in 2017, we collected 2.98 million. Even though we grew the practice, even though we had more hygiene, we did less collections. Even though we had more doctors, and oh, by the way, we opened up to 7 days a week too. We were open at more hours, more doctors, more patients, and we did less. So basically the problem was our associates couldn't sell the dentistry. And like I said, sell means build a trusting relationship with the patient. So so we went downhill. As a matter of fact, we ended up actually losing about $300,000 that year because the expenses just outpaced our revenue. So it was a rough year for us. So I went back and I looked at all the treatment plans because whenever our doctors aren't producing, the first thing I think is, are they in fact diagnosing and treatment planning any dentistry? And the fact of the matter is, I added up all the treatment plans for 2016 or 2017, and it ended up being about $15 million worth of treatment. It's like, wow. But we only collected about 2.9, just a little under 3 million. If you do the math, that's under a 20% case acceptance rate, which in my opinion is terrible. So that was awful. So yeah, we had some issues. And if I divided it out among all the active patients, the average treatment plan for our patients was only about $2,300, which isn't huge, but it has one important factor. It's above the patient's insurance maximums. And I've always said that as soon as a patient has to pull their wallet out of their pocket, you need to earn that money. You need to earn that with trust. So as a patient will walk in, if their insurance doesn't pay for something, in their minds, that means they don't need it. So I had an idea. What if we did free dentistry, right? I just went back, I did a little thought experiment, and I went back in time to 2017, and I said, well, what if I took that $15 million worth of treatment plans, divided it up among all of our active patients that we had, and then all I did was say, well, let's do free dentistry. Let's not charge the patient. Let's just accept their insurance benefits. And I know you can't do that, and I'm not saying to do that. This is just a thought experiment. So what would that look like? How much money would we have collected if all we did was collect insurance benefits? So I go back in time. We had about 6,000 active hygiene patients that year. or an average of about 500 per month. And patients come back twice a year, so you could say on average we actually had about 3,000 active patients, each of them with $1,500 in insurance benefits. And if we only did what the insurance covers and didn't accept any money from the patient, if you do the math, you'll see we would have done $4.5 million. So we would have done an extra $1.5 million on top of what we did if we just did free dentistry. So what that tells me is that my doctors can't even sell free dentistry, right? They can't even sell the dentistry up to the point where the insurance benefits cover it. So the problem was, like I said, they were giving out treatment plans that averaged about $2,300, but because they didn't earn that trusting relationship with the patient, instead of the patient even saying yes to anything, they just kicked the patient out the door completely. And like I said, we had a case of acceptance of somewhere in the 17-18% range, and that was just awful. So I had a thought, and I'm no mathematician, but $4.5 million is much greater than 2.98 million. So if we had just done free dentistry, we would have crushed it. So I had an idea. I said, you know what? I do think that the patients trust us to a degree, but I think that our doctors are not able to build that relationship beyond what their insurance covers. So oh yeah, even if we had the average case acceptance in the United States is about 30%. In other words, for every dollar that's treatment planned, about 30 cents gets collected. And had we just done that in 2017, just an average, if we were just average, we would have done $5 million. So yeah, that was really heartbreaking. Our doctors were just kicking patients out the door left and right, and getting very little done. So, and the following year, I had this idea. I said, you know what? If our doctors can't sell dentistry beyond a patient's insurance maximum, and as a matter of fact, it's even worse, they're kicking the patients out the door completely, I'm only going to allow my doctors to present treatment plans up to the insurance maximums. Now, I didn't say they're only going to diagnose up to the insurance maximums. Of course, they're going to diagnose everything. They're going to put everything on the treatment plan. It could be a $6 or $7 or $8 or $10,000 treatment plan. And they're going to, show the patient the chart and say, Mr. Jones, you see all these teeth in red. I have concerns with these teeth. However, we're going to start with this one area that's concerning to you, patient, not to the doctor, to the patient. And we're going to start there. And we're going to make sure that that one area or two areas falls in below the patient's insurance maximums. And so that year we saw about 7,500 hygiene patients that year, or we had about 3,750 active hygiene patients. Roughly 2/3 of them needed dentistry. And we collected $4.4 million the following year, simply by, or about $1,700 per patient, simply by limiting the amount that the doctors could present to a patient on their first visit. So, yeah, we just kept it at $1,500 or less, unless the patient was begging for more. And of course, sometimes you have to do a little bit more if it needs a root canal or a bridge or something like that. But all we did was just keep the treatment plans at $1,500 or less. And we ended up, our case acceptance went from like 17% all the way up to like 60 or 65%. And we collected $4.4 million by limiting the amount that we presented to patients. It's a little counterintuitive. So this is what made me coin the term the likability limit. See, if doctors are not able to build a trusting relationship, they have a limited likability limit. That likability limit is limited at the patient's insurance maximums. Now, of course, this is not all of your doctors. Some of your doctors are great communicators. They can communicate very well, build trusting relationships with patients, and no matter what they say to the patient's going to say yes. Dr. Yu and myself, we were very successful at getting patients to say yes to dentistry, as illustrated by our numbers in 2016. But not all doctors are like that. In fact, many doctors are not like that, especially young associates. So if your doctors can't sell dentistry, do this one simple thing. When they go in and see a patient, limit the amount of the treatment plans to either $1,500 or less, or whatever their insurance maximum is. Limit their initial treatment plan to below the insurance maximum. That way the patient doesn't have to, think, is this really necessary? If my insurance doesn't pay for it, then why am I even getting it done? Because like I said, every time a patient has to pull their wallet out of their pocket, you've got to earn that. You got to earn that money. You got to earn it with trust. You got to earn it with building a relationship. So in any case, it's one simple trick that you and your associates can use I guarantee you, if you limit the amount that the treatment plan is, you're going to increase your case acceptance and you're going to stop kicking patients out the door. So, in any case, again, I'm Dr. Bickling. Here is my contact information. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like it, go to ownitdental.com or click the link above and check out my services. I have dozens of hours of training videos and I've negotiated reduced lab fees for all my clients. So if you want to get out of the dental chair and start owning your business, go to ownitdental.com and check out my services, and I'll see you soon.